Yo, Joshua, welcome to the channel, my man.
What's up? It's good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you, my man. So for those of you who don't know, Joshua, we did a video, kind of testimonial, kind of talking about what it was like working with me, but it just didn't serve it enough justice.
Yeah.
To give you guys a little bit of context on kind of Joshua and like his background, he's 19, he's based out of like Ireland, and he had been in door to door for just a short amount of time, like a month or two. And then after working with me, rose to, the top door-to-door sales rep within like literally like a 30, 45 day span of the company, and eventually started managing a sales team for that company. Not to give too much away, but yeah, dude, just, thanks for, hopping on.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And just to kind of, I guess, give you the floor really, I just kind of want to go through like, what were you doing prior? Like, why'd you kind of decide to work with me? And what was that whole process like? Just before.
I mean, I guess as you said, like I was working door to door, obviously. So I'd only been there for maybe a month. So everyone knows about door to door sales, man. It's the killer, that's the grind of sales, anyways, from the start. So I was doing okay, like I was just kind of getting along. I was working my way, and I have training obviously with my company, which is well, but before I started with the company, I already knew that I wanted to be like the top. I didn't just want to be a normal rep. So I guess with like any company, like, they give you basic training because they don't mind the quick turnover. So you come in, they train you kind of okay enough, you make a few bob, you might not make enough money, you might leave. But the training wasn't enough. So I was just scrolling through sales Twitter. That's what I call it anyways, or money Twitter itself. I was on a few calls on Twitter itself, and then I hopped into one of yours, actually, Gareth. So I just sat there listening, and he just started giving value, like a lot of actual free value. And I was kind of surprised because usually what happens is you hop on this and it just kind of feels like someone is talking about something that has nothing to do with what they do, or they're trying to force something onto you. But he was genuinely just talking about sales. And then I hit him a DM literally straight after that. I was like, listen, I just listened to your call and I thought it was sick. I need a bit of help with door to door. Boom, sent me onto it. And then I joined Close with the Bible. So then I started the sales training there. Went to all the calls, went to all the recordings, did everything through there with himself. And pretty much in the space of 30, 45 days, it changed my outlook because there was a lot of things that I hadn't known in sales. Like I had a very basic overview of it. There was a lot of little tips and tricks that I hadn't known. In the space of 30 days, I was in the top 3 in the country. So I was only in the company for a month and I qualified for, it's what we call it's a top performance trip. So the top 10 reps in the country, and they pay for an all expenses paid trip to Portugal, where we went this year. They go to Dubai or somewhere like that. And I had gone into it on 1 month and I was 19. I was the youngest guy on the trip. There was people there like 35, like being in the company for like 6 years. And there's just this 19-year-old kid, like, and I was like, what? Are you doing sales? I was like, I only joined in January. Like, so I guess the main thing was that I took a lot from the sales training itself. And in a short space of time, I managed to go from, coming along kind of well to a top door-to-door sales rep in my company. Soon enough, at 19 then, I was given a team to manage as well. So I had a team of 4, and I literally kid you not, everything I taught them was from what I'd learned from Gareth. Like I was not teaching them like normal company stuff, because I was like, this is where you're gonna get with this type of stuff. Like I have knowledge that they didn't teach me here. My team was sick. I remember my first month, my team had the most sales in the country. So I had, as a team leader, I had the most sales in my team, and I had a next rep as well. He was looking like the next big thing in the company as well. But that was purely because he wasn't just learning from the script or from the company. I was literally teaching them things that I had learned from you. So that was a big thing as well, which it helped with my team. I guess then the big thing, obviously, then after that is I've been managing that. I was then moved on to what we call an MVP team. So company decided that they wanted to put 4 of us on this permanent team that just kind of works around the biggest events with the company around the country. So they pay for me to stay up in hotels, and I go to the best areas. So it's kind of like the elite team in the company, and there's 4 of us. There's me at 19, like 3 months ago, like just started fresh from college, knocking doors, like on an MVP team, like earning a lot of money from my age. But hands down, it was a good experience, and obviously the ongoing support from yourself as well. We hopped onto a few calls. So during them calls as well, I seemed to learn a little bit, something extra. If I had a problem, I brought it to yourself. And then I guess now here I am. It's been only what 6 months. It's literally 6 months to the date when I started sales, and it's been a blast.
Okay, cool, dude. And obviously you've had like a crazy amount of growth in a very short amount of time. But just to kind of get to the core of that, like what exactly was, because they gave some type of like training, right? So what was like, what did you take from my stuff that you like more specifically that worked and kind of like made the difference in your sales?
I mean, like when I think of it this way, like the people who are teaching me this stuff have done like decent number in sales. Like it's door to door. They haven't done like, they could not sell finance, they could not sell online, they wouldn't be able to sell high ticket as such. So I know you've done millions in sales. So like some of the tips that you have, well, a lot of the tips you have are tips they wouldn't even know because it's not at their level. So there's a certain level. So if my teacher is at a certain level, I'm going to be at his level. So I just thought by like going for a better teacher, a better mentor, someone who has a lot more information is going to bring me to a higher level. So I thought small things like even tonality, listening to some of your sales calls was a big game changer for me because it made me like question like, whoa, this is how I do sales, but like this is the way. Like I really saw tonality, and for myself as well. Questioning was a big thing as well. The way like you actually found the pain in a problem, the way you actually question people was a big thing for me, because that's a big thing in door to door. Because if you can't find the person's problem, they're just not going to buy from you because people don't just come to the doors with their wallets in their hands. You have to find the problem really quick. So I found the questioning was one thing as well. It's a bit more now the mental sides of it as well. You wouldn't really do a lot of questioning. You wouldn't do a lot of stuff to do with like the neuroscience, things as simple things as putting things in threes. Like that's something that you wouldn't learn in door to door, but that's like a whole psychological part of sales, which is a lot more important. Even something like matching someone's posture. Like obviously I'm in someone's house when I'm selling, so that was a big thing. I just started sitting there and they'd go like this, I'd go like this as well, or they'd go like this, and I was like this as well. And you notice that they kind of become a bit more open as well. But that's something they don't teach us. So I think the psychological aspect was a big thing that I learned from myself. And sales psychology is, if not the most important bit in sales.
Yeah, I mean, things like mirroring, like asking the right questions, like tonality, all that stuff is important in sales. But when it's door to door and you have this little window of time to really win someone over and you can do that right,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like, and I don't want to put the wrong number out there. Like, what was your like closing rate?
At the time when I was really good, like
Yeah,
when I was up there, I'd say it was probably around 55-60%, to be honest. Like
yeah,
once I was getting in doing presentations, like I wasn't, because it wasn't like before I was going in and I was selling the product. So like I knew like what my product was, what we did, which was home safe. I knew how to sell it. I was selling to them. I was kind of thinking, oh, what bit are they gonna like the most? But the big switch was when I went in, I was more focused in psychology. I was studying them the whole time. I was studying, okay, how is this going? What's this? Is this on a one scale of 1 to 10, not a 6? Okay, I need to bring them more to closer to a 10 before I close. Things like that that I wouldn't have known. So I knew when to extend the sales process and when to shorten it. And then I knew when to build a bit more rapport. So it was more like a game to me once I went to the house. I was like, okay, you got an hour, this is game time. While before, when I got into the house, I was like, oh, I got in, let me just explain, this is what we do, this is what we do. And yeah, do you want to buy it? Like, you know?
yeah. And once it becomes a game and you get more detached from the outcome, like shit just
Oh,
gets
yes. Yeah. It's just follow the game. If you follow the game properly and you play it right, you will get the sale in the end. It's not more like you're eager sitting there, or do they like this? I'm not sure, will they go for it or not? It's more now I know like, okay, this is a challenge, is a problem. How do I overcome this problem? Okay, I need to do a bit more of this. I need to use a bit more of that. And then by overcoming so many problems, you will get to the outcome, which is your sales. That's how you close more.
Yeah. And dude, I knew your closing rate was high. Fuck, I didn't know it was 55, 60.
Yeah.
Like, because door to door, for those of you watching that don't know, like, door to door close rates are like 15, like 20%. Like,
Yeah.
high. Like that's
Yeah.
high door to door. So to close above 50, like that's good for an inbound, lead.
Mm. It is very good. Yeah.
Cool. So for real, like phenomenal, growth that you've seen. I guess just to kind of put it as far as advice to those watching, because I'm gonna post this on my YouTube. So like for those of you who are earlier in their kind of like sales journey, they're month 2, 3 months in, whatever, maybe in their first door to door gig. Like, what type of advice would you give to someone that was in your shoes 6 months ago?
I would say learn. So, you know, you need to learn from someone who knows. So at the start as well, you know, I took a few tips from some of the top salespeople in my company. You need to be detached from the outcome of a sale. If you're just focused on getting sales, you might get a couple and they might not be from the fact that you're actually good. It might just be the fact that you were just a bit too persistent or something. That's not going to hold long term. So in the early days, you really need to focus on learning the fundamentals. So those type of things I said. Now what I'm just doing is polishing my game. So I'm just polishing now because I've learned all those things. I have all those tools. I know when to throw something in. I know when to not throw something in. At the start, it will lead to more sales in the future. So if you don't take the time to learn at the very, very start and you're kind of thinking more money-wise, you're going to implode. You're either going to go really, really quick and then hit a block. And the thing is, at that point, you're going to be like, what I was doing, I got 5, 6, what's going on? And you're going to feel really, really disappointed and deflated. You'll probably quit because the thing was you had a lot of energy and persistence that maybe gave you a few sales. It wasn't that you were actually good. So at the start, it may look slow, but sometimes the scale goes like this, but 4, it goes up like that. So while you're learning, be ready for it to go like this a little bit, but just know that after that, it's going to go up. That'd be my big advice.
Okay, cool. And I guess beyond that, for those of you who don't know, Joshua, actually, I brought him on, you know, after he had crazy success with door to door. There's kind of a ceiling in, you know, how much money you can make in door to door, unfortunately, just because you only knock so many doors, you know, and all that. And it's not a crazy high ticket product. So I brought him on my team. So he is my closer. You know, he is on my sales team because he's a freaking beast. So when you guys book in like free like sales process audits, this is who you're going to be taking the call with. Sometimes it's going to be myself, sometimes my business partner Manny, but majority of the time it's going to be Joshua here. So you know, this is who you're going to be speaking to. So you're in good hands.
Yeah. I just want to see people go from the same place as me because I know what it feels like. It's still early on in my career. It's not like I've been doing this for 10 years, so I can still vividly remember myself 6 months ago. So that's a big thing for me.
Okay, cool. Well, Joshua, thank you again for hopping on, man. I will get this posted up shortly. And for those of you, looking to work with us, go ahead and look below in the description. You're going to see the free Facebook group, my Twitter, obviously YouTube, you're already here. And then as well, the link to book that free sales process audit if you'd like. Go ahead and check out all those resources, and I'll see you on the next one.